mentality that we know we can, if we do what it takes to do to make it to the Final Four, we all know we can do it. So, but at this point in the season in my career, it's been really good, really good year. Kind of called it a little bit at the start of the year, having a career year, and still moving forward. Still wondering where the win is at, trying to figure that out. But all in all, it's just been a really solid 6-7 months of learning and growing and appreciating where you're at in sport, and looking at things differently from the physical side of things, the mental side of things, and just a different outlook on racing and on life.
No wins and no playoff points this year. So how do you get it? I mean, how do you make it to the Final Four? That those numbers don't necessarily.
Yeah, you gotta work your tail off. Always seems like you gotta come up from behind. So we are, every chance we've had, every chance I've had to win a stage and get playoff points, I've choked, and restarts are second to none compared to anybody else. And so it's frustrating that I haven't gotten our team playoff points, but it is what it is, and we just got to work really hard. We got to execute throughout all the stages and see what happens and where we end up. But all in all, it's not going to be done without a fight.
Bubba, what are you taking in personally the most from this experience of being this far to advance in your career so far?
For me, it's honestly just another race. Texas is just another weekend, a hot-ass weekend, that's for sure. But I don't know. I don't feel the pressure of being in the playoffs. Like, I take that back. I feel it when it's the last race of, like it was a cutoff race at Daytona, right? Stressed the hell out. I was good until I fired up the car at Bristol, and it's like, man, I want to make it to the next round. I want to make it in the playoffs. But right now, it's fine. It's another race, it's another weekend. So whatever happens, we just make sure we do everything right, no mistakes. And there's no really different motto than if this was the 5th race of the season.
Depending on what happens at Texas here this weekend, do you think they'll come up in Talladega? Those nerves?
No, I think where I've gotten better is having no nerves at Speedway stuff, unless it's cutoff race Daytona. That's different. So we know that we're strong. We know that we're strong in these next 2 races. I mean, hell, Roval we finished 8th, I think. So we just got to do it. I did tell Booty, when we made it into the playoffs. This was before playoffs started. So when we make it in the playoffs, round 2 is going to be our hardest one. So we all got to roll our sleeves up and get to work. Texas, I've just never had the utmost confidence. We all know how slick, especially now, when you see a reflection of the walls on the racetrack, on the exit of the corners. Oh, good luck. So I'm always kind of on the more shallow side of things, and that'll put you 7th to 12th.
Now that you made it.
So Talladega's survive, and then Roval's just a road course race. So don't need to go into that.
Better on road courses, though.
Better on a road course. There's still too many of them on schedule.
I mean, I think people look at what you've done at Talladega and almost see that more as an opportunity, as more of a pitfall. And I guess I'd argue with what the Toyotas have done on 1.5 miles, and I noticed a different 1.5 miles. That this sets up well in a sense. I don't know if I would see it as your hardest round, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe I'm just overly optimistic.
You guys are looking at from the outside in, right? Looking at numbers and the visuals of it, but driving Texas is just okay for me. Talladega, yeah, we seem to find our way up front, but I haven't won a Speedway race in 2 years, so
we're now joined by Ross Chastain.
We have to just put it all together, and then the Glen is so much different than the Roval. So again, Roval, no mistakes. If you run off track at the Glen, you've got a little bit of room. There is no off track at the Roval, so there is just racetrack and wall.
So. But that house money that you were talking about, that's got to be a little bit comforting because
Yeah, I don't want to take that as as we're rolling over, right? It's like, we made it to round of 12, we're good. Hell no. I'm a competitor, I love to compete, and so you say that, but I think that's kind of like a fallback option. Because screw house money, you gotta go out and get it, earn it.
What's the biggest lesson you learned in that first round?
I think just working on the mindsets throughout the races. Finally understanding, this year races are long. Don't count yourself out. But like Darlington, when I spun under the 22, having better judgment, things like that you can easily avoid. But you may get lost in translation over something. So just thinking everything through a couple laps ahead of time.
That was going to be one of the questions I asked. The transition of your mental state, as far as you used to be very impulsive, now you're more methodical in a race car on the track. Do you notice that, or is that something you actually focus on, or does it just kind of come naturally now?
I'd say at the start of it, I was definitely noticing it and putting forth the effort. I think now it kind of comes more secondhand, but according to some, I'm still mentally fragile, so no, I think just experience and seat time and understanding how the races play out just makes it a little bit easier each week to week.
Did you see the meme this week that was like, the first line's like, Bubba will never win a race, and it was like, Bubba will never win a race that finishes under green, and it was like, Bubba will never make the playoffs, and it was like, Bubba will never make it out of the first round of the playoffs. Like, these things keep getting crossed off.
Yeah, we just keep out kicking the field goal, so they just keep moving it back, and that's fine. It pushes me to work even more, so can't help darts, but can't help darts.
What was the conversation last week with Michael after advancing? I mean,
hell, he left. I didn't even see him. I seen the celebration. After on Monday, I've seen him cheering on the box. Never heard from him. No, he sent me a text. He was pumped. He sent me a text.
Now that
it was good. It was fun.
Does Booty ever say anything about having him right over his shoulder?
No, Booty loves it. He lives for it. Before his accident, he was a football guy and played football and loved sports and competing. And so having MJ there, I think it just adds fuel to the fire for him. So it's good.
Last Sunday, NASCAR announced that they're going to the Mexico Series is going to be joining you guys in the Clash. So just how important is it to showcase those international series, given you guys don't do it often, and that some of the prospects have come from the Mexico Series that come up into the Cup Series?
Yeah, I think that's a massive platform for those guys, and I think it's really, really cool to showcase for them, but also for the fans that come out to the track. So all around, that's a good weekend for us. Just got to travel across the country to get there, but kick off the season in LA, it's been good. So excited to see how it all unfolds.
This is Harrison Burton, driver the number 21. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, check out one of these two videos beside me. Visit frontstretch.com for more racing content.